void. Man, I love Guyana. And I love these people.
Love these clowns, man. I call them too nice to him.
Wow. Foreigners. Foreigners were there in this country, scrapping out everything from them. And all of us are not even paying taxes according to the laws of Guyana.
Good day, welcome to your news at noon on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. Making headlines today, government gives Exxon leeway in license to change costs and development plan for $10 billion Yellowtail project. Trinidad and Tobago's Petrotrin can be made available to refine Guyana's oil. Prime Minister Rowley says if country is interested, then the conversation should take place. Any strategic partner should bear financial burden to set up national oil company, according to international analysts. Heavy downpour leaves sections of Guyana flooded. Rupununi residents forced into shelters and city drains and canals filled to capacity. Environmentalists request fish study from FAO to determine credibility of conclusions. And in the gas to energy project, Exxon relies on decade-old data to justify low gas emissions. Meanwhile, Peru sues oil company for $4.5 billion over 12,000 barrels of spilled crude, as Guyana currently produces 340,000 barrels daily without full coverage insurance. Stay tuned to stay informed.
Not a single bar of service.
Not with us. Digicel officially has the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Ookla, the company behind Speed Test, recognizes Digicel as the network with the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Be it in Georgetown or in NI, we got you covered. Digicel, better together.
And now for the news in detail. It appears that the government of Guyana has given ExxonMobil subsidiary Esso enough leeway to change as it deems necessary costs as well as the already approved development plan for the $10 billion Yellowtail project in the Stabroek Block. According to the provisions of the petroleum production license that was awarded on April 1st, the licensee may, with the written approval of the minister, amend the development plan with respect to work and expenditure contained in the development plan, but the amendment shall not have effect so as to reduce any minimum requirements. The license states as well that Esso shall carry out all activities under this license in keeping with good international oil field practice and in compliance with the nation's outdated oil laws, the lopsided Stabroek Block Petroleum Agreement, the development plan, and any other law or instrument or agreement with the government to which the license may be subject, as may be amended, enacted, or modified from time to time. In other news, Dr. Kaieteur Radio, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, has publicly confirmed that once the lease or sale arrangement currently taking place with regard to its petroleum refinery, Petrotrin, then the facility can be made available to process Guyana's oil if the country is interested. He reminded that in his latest report that the country's parliament on the issue, he had outlined that Petrotrin was currently in its evaluation process and has since identified one company to move forward with. He was adamant it was for this reason he did not want to go in depth into the issue while in Guyana. Recalling the reasons for the closure of Petrotrin, Dr. Rowley pointed to the inadequate supply of oil to be sourced locally, which led to that country resorting to importing as much as 120,000 barrels of oil daily in order to keep the refinery open. And I'll tell you, Guyana must be mindful not to expend unnecessary funds in the development of a national oil company if it is to develop an operating model using a strategic partner. Already, experienced individuals within the local and international oil industry, as well as some financial institutions, have advised Guyana against such a motion, declaring that financial returns from oil endowments may be best gained from improving the contract that deals with profit sharing between the country and its operating partner. Co-director of the Energy Program at America's Market Intelligence, Arthur Deacon, said that Guyana must ensure the highest returns from its oil endowments if it involves an outside source. In explaining what a national oil company with a strategic partner could look like, the analyst said that Guyana must put zero to very little capital expenditure into the development and then exploration of the oil resources. And moving on, due to the passing of a tropical wave, several parts of Guyana have been experiencing continuous rainfalls, which resulted in severe flooding. Some Rupununi residents have been forced into shelters, and city drains and canals have been filled to capacity. According to Guyana's Hydrometeorological Service, cloudy to overcast skies are expected over all regions, and scattered showers varying from light to moderate with intermittent rain are likely to be experienced over northern Guyana, while thunder showers are likely to happen in regions 1 to 3. According to the CDC, several communities and farms are flooded, resulting in the relocation of families. Meanwhile, in Georgetown, the mayor and city council on Monday issued an advisory that urged citizens to safeguard their homes since the city drains and canals were filled to capacity. And I'll just tell you, Guyana's Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa has said that climate change is to be blamed for the noticeable decline in fish catch and not the offshore oil and gas operations. He used the findings of an independent study conducted by the Food and Agriculture Organization as the basis for his conclusion. But to assure the public of the report's credibility, environmentalist Simone Mangal-Joly has made a request for the organization to release the document. Mangal-Joly, who is also a geologist, had sent a separate letter to Minister Mustafa, which has gone unacknowledged, at least up to press time. Nevertheless, she reminded that FAO in her missive that impacts of offshore oil and gas activities has been the subject of much debate. To date, ExxonMobil has been granted 4 environmental permits to conduct its activities in the absence of key studies which should form the foundation for its operations to be authorized, the environmentalist said. And just before we head to a short break, let's tell you that ExxonMobil Guyana has used data from 10 years ago to conclude that it's part of the gas to energy project, that is, the onshore and offshore pipelines together with the natural gas liquids plant, will not be a large-scale emitter of the dangerous greenhouse gases that lead to climate change. This was revealed during a recent consultation at the Humaniana in Georgetown, hosted by the oil company and its consultant, Environmental Resources Management, that prepared the environmental impact assessment for the project. In fact, it was the consultant Guyana program lead and partner in charge, Mr. Hugh Todd, who told citizens at the meeting that the emissions from the project have been rated as low. You're listening to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. This is your news at noon. We'll return after the break.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. More than 4 months after the disastrous oil spill in Peru, the Peruvian authorities have sued Spanish oil giant Repsol for a total of $4.5 billion for the environmental disaster. On January 15th, approximately 12,000 barrels of crude were spilled from one of the La Pampilla refineries, which is owned by Repsol off the coast of Ventanilla in the region of Lima, Peru. The spill was reportedly caused by shock waves from an undersea volcanic eruption near Tonga in the South Pacific Ocean. While the government of Peru continues to take action to protect its people and its environment, Guyana, in contrast, continues to give American oil giant ExxonMobil permission to operate without a guarantee that it would cover the cost for any oil spill that surpasses the capacity of its subsidiaries to pay. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health on Monday recorded 21 new COVID-19 cases from 348 tests, taking the total number of confirmed cases since March 2020 to 64,297. The new cases were recorded in Region 2 with 2 cases, Region 6, 2 cases, Region 4, 4 cases, and Region 10, 13 cases. Meanwhile, there are 3 patients in the COVID-19 ICU, 21 in institutional isolation, and 527 are in home isolation. To date, 62,515 persons have recovered and 1,231 have died. Guyana's newest e-commerce business place, Stabroek Online Marketplace, on Thursday last officially went live to the public, where the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, upon the invitation of President Irfaan Ali, made the first purchase on the platform. According to a Tagman media release, the first purchase was an oil painting named Cultured Frog by Guyanese artist Diana Luke King. SOM went live on the opening day of the inaugural Agri-Investment Forum and Expo. The platform also includes another division, Stabroek Travel and e-booking platform for local tour experiences and accommodation. SOM was part of an estimated 300 participants, including regional businesses and organizations present for the 3-day event. And now let's tell you, amidst criticism over the recent actions of the Director of Public Prosecutions, Shalimar Ali Haq, the office of the DPP on Monday issued a statement to reassure the public of its apolitical status. The statement follows widespread public criticisms that DPP Ali Haq received after she discontinued the private racial assault charge against attorney-at-law Nirvan Singh, son of former Chancellor of the Judiciary Karl Singh. Her actions were met with backlash from a number of civil society groups and individuals who accused the DPP of acting in a partisan manner. In response to the backlash, the DPP Chambers, in its statement issued on Monday, said that the allegations being made and published in the media and otherwise have no basis in law. And to wrap things up, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Kaieteur Radio, has said that while he and Guyana's Vice President Barra Jagdeo may not always agree on issues, they have a responsibility to conduct themselves in a fashion that would be beneficial to the people of both countries. Dr. Rowley gave the frank response to Trinidad journalists after he was asked about the relationship he shares with Guyana's Vice President in light of his recently public utterances regarding relations with the Twin Island Republic. According to Dr. Rowley, the relationship between Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana is probably now better than it ever has been. And as usual, we wrap things up with the page 7 of today's Kaieteur News, dedicated to being blunt, history repeating itself. In Africa, tribal leaders sold their brothers and sisters to foreigners and into slavery for trinkets. In India, the native princes joined with the British to exploit their own people. In Mexico and Peru, it was the same way that locals betrayed their own to foreigners for ornaments and toys. In Guyana, this is what the PPPC government leaders do to Guyanese when they join hands in partnership with foreigners, oil, gold, timber and bauxite, and empower them to rape and rob the riches of this country for pittances. Guyanese, When are you going to stand up? Guyanese, when will you resist your own impoverishment? And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.